Riding the highway, a tour tale of Jaylo Wennings and the Outlaws, the late summer sun hung low in the sky, casting a golden hue over the tour bus that rattled its way down a winding country road. Jaylo Wennings, the frontman of the country music band The Outlaws, leaned back against the sun-bleached vinyl seat, his cowboy hat tipped comfortably low to shield his eyes. The scent of overwhelmed fast food wrappers mixed with the earthy aroma of worn leather, creating a pungent and familiar perfume that was all too synonymous with life on the road.
Are we seriously out of beer again?
Grumbled Lucas, the band's guitar player, tapping a pair of drumsticks against the bus's metal wall. His eyes glimmered with a mix of annoyance and mirth, as if the mere absurdity of life on tour had infused him with a perpetual sense of humor.
Hold on, let me check.
Jaylo replied, swinging his legs to the floor and rummaging through a cooler that had seen better days. Inside, a lone can of lukewarm cola stared back at him from the ice-slicked bottom.
We've got one cola, a slice of moldy bread, and a whole lot of regret.
He called out, eliciting a chorus of laughter from the back of the bus.
Regret's all we seem to have these days,
muttered Lila, the band's spirited fiddle player, poking her head through the curtain separating the living quarters from the front of the bus.
If that's not a country song waiting to be written, I don't know what is.
Maybe we should just start covering classic hits about being too broke to afford a six-pack,
suggested Sam, the ever-optimistic drummer, his tattoos catching the last rays of sunlight as he twisted around to face the rest of the band.
Like I'm so broke I can't even pay attention.
Or I ain't got no liquor, but I got my friends.
Lucas chimed in, chuckling as he banged his sticks in rhythm with their improvised lyrics.
Okay, now that's a hit,
Jaylo said with a grin, mentally noting to jot it down later. Between incessant mocking of their touring woes and brainstorming absurd lyrics, ineffable camaraderie brewed in the tight confines of their dilapidated bus. The Outlaws had been on tour for what felt like an eternity, 20 cities in 30 days, their days filled with strumming guitars, belting out heartfelt lyrics, and endless nights of drinking cheap whiskey at roadside motels. Despite the challenges, the thrill of performing kept their spirits high. The thought of stepping on that stage tonight, in Fiddler's Grove, their next stop city, ignited something in Jaylo's chest, a fiery mix of nerves and excitement. A sudden lurch pulled them from their jovial banter.
Folks, we might have a slight situation here.
Great, what now?
Jaylo sighed, rolling his eyes, though a smirk still graced his lips. Minutes later, the bus came to a screeching halt on the side of the road. They all emerged, blinking under the harsh sunlight, confronted by the unmistakable smell of burning rubber. Standing on the side of the interstate, the green-faced driver waved them over.
Flat tire? I think it's toast.
Just like our last record.
While their driver dove into the depths of despair over his misfortune, Jaylo motioned for the band to gather around. As they lounged against the bus, a ridiculous creativity took hold. In just an hour, they had penned a raucous anthem titled "Spare Me the Flat Tire Blues," rich with punchlines that had their off-key wails echoing into the air, drawing confused glances from passing commuters.
With some elbow grease on Lucas's part, the spare tire eventually found its way to the bus, albeit with the help of an old crow perched above, who seemed to mock them with each cawed reply to their song.
Finally back on the road, energy surged through the air as they cruised towards Fiddler's Grove. By the time they arrived at the lively venue that evening, where bright lights illuminated a sea of eager fans, any remnants of frustration felt like a distant memory.
The stage awaited, an altar of connection, laughter, and perhaps a little chaos.
The Outlaws climbed on stage, instruments in hand, feeling in sync like whisked eggs ready to be scrambled into a symphony of sound. The moment they struck their first chord, a wave of cheers washed over them. A sweet reminder of why they endured the obstacles of touring life. They played hit after hit, Big Sky and Broken Hearts resonating through the venue with a hint of nostalgia, while Spare Me the Flat Tire Blues sparked up spontaneous laughter and applause.
As they delivered their closing numbers that night, the bonds forged during those chaotic hours paved an undeniable energy through every song. They danced, laughed, and celebrated their victories through off-key romances, flat tires, and moments that turned mundane into unforgettable.
Driving away on that tour bus, past the glowing lights of Fiddler's Grove, Jaylen leaned back in his seat, smiling broadly, surrounded by friends turned family. Life on the road was unpredictable, a chaotic whirlwind of laughter and hardship, yet that wild adventure spirit surged brightly in his heart.
Next time we need a bus with a bar and an actual fridge.
We'll get to that, or we'll just keep writing songs.
Jaylen laughed, the beat of their shared stories leading them harmoniously into the unknown. The road ahead, filled with endless adventures, all waiting to be sung,